I never thought family could carve out your heart with a notary stamp. But there I was, staring at the deed that gutted everything Grandma left me. My Aunt Evelyn had forged her power of attorney, slipped it past the lawyers like a snake in the grass, and sold our family's $4 million beach house in Malibu for a quick buck to fund her gambling debts. And the kicker? The real estate agent. That sleazy bastard with the veneers too white for his soul. Whispered the truth over a lukewarm coffee. She didn't just sell it.
Kid.
She buried your grandma's ashes in the backyard rose garden first. To make the title clean. Said it was poetic justice for the old bat holding on too long. That revelation hit like a rogue wave. But it was nothing compared to the fire it lit in my gut. I'd spent years playing the good granddaughter. Covering for Evelyn's screw-ups since I was 16, lying to Mom about her benders. Forging notes to get her out of DUIs. Even taking the fall for that hit and run she pulled in '09 because blood's thicker than jail bars.
Now.
With Grandma's will dust in the wind and the house gone to some Silicon Valley tech bro who planned to turn it into an NFT party pad, I realized payback wasn't just an option. It was the only goddamn sacrament left. The salt air off the Pacific always carried a promise of escape. But that muggy July afternoon in 2023, it just tasted like rust in my throat. I was 28, fresh off a soul-sucking shift at the ER in Santa Monica, nurse by day, invisible fixer by night, and I'd driven up the coast to check on Grandma's place like I did every weekend. The house was a relic from the 50s. All white clapboard and wraparound porch. Perched on a bluff where the waves crashed like they were auditioning for a disaster flick. Grandma called it Sea Glass Haven, built it with Grandpa after the war using GI Bill scraps and sheer spite against the world that chewed them up in Oklahoma. It was her anchor. And after she passed in February, it became mine, the one thread holding my frayed life together. I pulled my beat-up Civic into the gravel drive, the engine coughing like it knew what was coming. The for sale sign hit me first, hammered crooked into the lawn like a middle finger. My stomach dropped. Grandma's will was ironclad. The house to me, outright. No strings. Evelyn was named executor.
Sure.
But she'd signed off on it in front of witnesses. What the hell? I stormed up the steps. Key still in my purse, because no one had bothered to change the locks. The door creaked open to emptiness, furniture gone, echoes bouncing off bare walls. Dust motes danced in the slanting light, and there, on the kitchen counter where Grandma used to roll out pie crusts, sat a manila envelope. Layla Harper scrawled in Evelyn's loopy script. Inside, a copy of the deed transfer. Dated last week. Buyer, some venture capital douche named Trent Voss. Price, $4.2 million. And clipped to it, a check stub for the proceeds, deposited straight into Evelyn's account at Wells Fargo. I crumpled it in my fist, vision blurring with hot tears. That bitch. My Aunt Evelyn, the golden child who'd coasted through life on charm and lies, had done the unthinkable. I grabbed my phone, dialed her number with shaking fingers. It rang 4 times before her voicemail kicked in. That fossiltree tone, darlin'. You've reached Evelyn Chase. Leave a message. And maybe it'll find me. I didn't. Instead, I hurled the phone across the room, watching it shatter against the stone fireplace. By sunset, I was at the real estate office in downtown Malibu, a strip mall eyesore wedged between a vegan taco joint and a crystal healer. The agent was closing up Gary something or other, per the sign 50s, paunchy, with a tie loosened like an afterthought. I slammed the envelope on his desk. Explain this. He glanced up, unfazed. like he'd seen 100 furious heirs. "Miss Harper? Evelyn said you'd drop by." Rough break.
Huh.
Rough break? She sold my inheritance.
Forge the POA.
I want it back.
Now.
Gary leaned back, steepling his fingers. POA looked legit to me. Notary's seal. Signatures. Hell. Your aunt even hosted an open house, caviar and rose on the deck. Voss fell in love with the view. Signed on the spot. I leaned in, voice low and venomous. "You're complicit." "You knew." He chuckled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Knew? Honey, in this game, you don't ask questions if the commission's fat." But off the record. He poured 2 styrofoam cups of coffee from a pot that smelled like regret. "Evelyn buried your grandma's ashes out back. In the rose garden. Said it closed the loop or some poetic crap." Voss didn't care. Guys building a smart home bunker.
But yeah.
The POA?
Shaky.
Witness was her hairdresser. Half drunk on Chardonnay. The room spun. Grandma's ashes, scattered legally at sea per her wishes. Or so the funeral home said. Evelyn had lied about that too? Stolen her final rest to grease the sail? I gripped the desk, nails digging into laminate. "Why tell me?" Gary shrugged. "Conscience. Maybe. Or 'cause you're not her, you've got that Harper fire." "Look. Sue her ass." But Voss is clean. Escrow's done. House is his. I left there with a plan hatching, dark and unyielding as the tide pulling out under a blood moon. Evelyn had always been the spider in the family web, beautiful, manipulative, flipping alliances like pancakes. Mom died when I was 10, OD'd on pills Evelyn supplied to help with the pain. I'd covered for her then, told the cops it was my stash. Kept the peace for Grandma's sake. But this was war. That night, in my cramped apartment off Pico, I cracked open a bottle of cheap bourbon, Grandma's brand, Wild Turkey, and started digging. Laptop glowing in the dark. I pulled up public records, Evelyn's gambling trail. From Vegas high roller suites to underground poker dens in Koreatown. Debts piling up like Jenga, $800K to loan sharks. The kind who don't send polite reminders. The house sale? A Hail Mary to buy time. But there was more. Buried in county archives. A yellowed police report from 2009, the hidden run I'd taken the rap for. Evelyn behind the wheel. Plowed into a cyclist on Mulholland. Guy lived, but paralyzed. She walked because I perjured myself. Said I was driving. Juvenile record sealed. But the secret festered.
And now, this.
By dawn, I'd mapped it, her flip-flops through the years. Charming Grandma into loans, then ghosting. Seducing Mom's husband, my uncle, into bankruptcy with her investments. Always the victim. Always the survivor. Until me. I called in sick to work. Drove to her condo in Venice, beachfront. Ironic as hell. She answered the door in yoga pants and a silk robe. Martini in hand at 10 a.m. "Layla, sweetie. What a surprise." I didn't smile. "The house." "Explain." Her eyes flickered. That tell. A micro-twitch at the corner. Then the waterworks. "Oh, honey. It was for the best." Grandma's estate taxes, crushing. I used the POA to handle it quick.
Before the market tanked.
"You'll get your share." Liar. I shoved the deed copy at her. "All of it went to your account." "And the ashes?" You desecrated her. She paled, just a fraction, then recovered with a laugh like breaking glass. Drama queen. It was symbolic. She would have wanted it, back to the earth she loved. You're done, Evelyn. I'm contesting everything. Lawyer tomorrow. Her face hardened, the mask slipping. Go ahead.
Kiddo.
But remember who raised you after your mom croaked. Who paid for nursing school. Bite the hand. See what happens. I turned to leave, but her parting shot froze me. Oh, and that cyclist? He sued last month. Opened old files. Your name's on them. Perjury's a felony now. Adult charges.
Threat.
Classic Evelyn, strike low. Twist the knife. I drove away shaking, but the fear ignited something primal. Revenge wasn't abstract anymore. It was a blueprint. Over the next week, I played the long game. Quietly hired a PI. A grizzled ex-cop named Ruiz who chain-smoked camels and didn't ask ethics questions. He tailed Evelyn to a high-stakes game in the hills, $150K pot. She lost half. Photos. Her cozying up to a bookie named Marco. The kind with neck tats and a rap sheet longer than my shift roster. Meanwhile, I filed the suit fraud, elder abuse, desecration of remains. Judge set a hearing for September, but Voss fought back, claiming good faith. Media sniffed it. Family feud over Malibu million, grandkid versus gambler aunt. Tabloids ate it up, painting me the vengeful harpy, her the tragic widow. Evelyn flipped the script overnight. Called a presser from her balcony. Tears streaming. My niece is unstable, yar burnout. They say. This is harassment. Leaked my sealed juvie record to a blogger. Suddenly, I'm the villain. Online trolls calling for my nursing license. But I had cards too. Ruiz uncovered the hairdresser witness, paid off with a Birkin bag. And the notary? Evelyn's lover. A disbarred attorney slinging real estate on the side. Cracks forming. One night, as thunder rolled in from the Channel Islands, she showed up at my door, rain-soaked, mascara rivers. Truce. Layla? Family sticks. I let her in, poured tea instead of bourbon. Listened to her sob story. Debts from bad investments, not gambling. I did it for us, for you. The money's in a trust. I swear. Lies. But I nodded. Prove it. Show me the accounts. She hesitated, then pulled out her phone. Transfers. $2 mill to an offshore shell.
See?
Half yours. It was bait. But I bit. We hugged. Fragile as sea glass. That was the hook, her thinking she'd reeled me in. The truce lasted 2 weeks. A powder keg with a lit fuse. Evelyn played the doting aunt. Brunch at the Ivy. Girls' weekend in Palm Springs, while I fed her just enough rope. Behind the scenes, Ruiz hacked her emails, gray area. But screw it. Revealing chats with Marco. Double down on the kid. She's cracking. And buried deeper, a 2015 folder labeled insurance. Mom's death? Not suicide. Evelyn dosed her pills that night, after a fight over inheritance. Cover-up emails to the coroner, bribes.
Threats.
She'd framed it as mercy, but it was murder. That secret hit like a freight train. I'd mourned Mom as the weak one, popping Xanax like candy. But Evelyn, the puppeteer, pulling strings even then. I confronted Ruiz over greasy diner eggs. Proof, rock solid, but toxic. Opens a homicide case. You sure? Not yet. First, the house. Voss's crew broke ground mid-August, bulldozers chewing up the rose garden. I stood on the bluff, wind whipping my hair, watching them unearth a small tin buried shallow. Grandma's urn, dented and mud-caked. Proof. I snapped photos.
Sent to my lawyer.
Media frenzy reignited. Desecration horror. Ashes dug up in air war. Evelyn's response? Countersue for defamation. Claiming I planted it. Flipped again. Now I'm the psycho digging up graves for sympathy. Her lawyer, a shark from Century City, dragged my name through depositions. MS. Harper has a history of instability. Perjury at 16. Workplace complaints for aggressive patient care. Lies. Mostly. I'd snapped at a doctor once, after he botched a code. But it stuck. Nurses at the ER started whispering. Charts disappearing. By Labor Day, I was on leave, stress.
They said.
Bullshit. Evelyn's reach. I holed up in a motel off the 101. The kind with hourly rates and neon buzz. Bourbon my companion. Plans my salvation. Step 1. Expose the POA fraud. I tracked the notary to a strip mall in Van Nuys, Ricky Voss. No relation to the buyer, but married to Gary's sister. Small world. Rotten core.
Posed as a buyer.
Got him drunk on bottom shelf tequila. He spilled. Evelyn promised me 10%. Said the girl's a junkie, wouldn't notice. Recorded it all. Step 2. The gambling. Ruiz posed as a mark. Infiltrated Marco's circle. Evelyn was deep, IOUs signed in blood metaphorically. But Marco collected literally. A debtor last month? Kneecaps rearranged in Echo Park. The hearing loomed. October 5th. LA Superior Court. Evelyn arrived in Chanel, flanked by her shark.
Me?
Jeans and a blazer. Ruiz in the gallery. Judge Harlan, a no-nonsense type with a Dodgers mug, called order. Her side first, sob stories, forged trust documents. Then mine, PI testimony, recordings. Gasps from the bench when Ricky played the tape. Evelyn's face, porcelain cracking. But she flipped mid-cross. It's all lies. Layla's framing me. She's the one who buried the ashes. To sabotage the sale. Check her alibis. Controversy erupted. Reporters swarmed. Twitter ablaze. Beach house betrayal trending. Is the niece a saint or a schemer? Pundits picked sides, feminists for me. Fiscal conservatives calling it entitled millennial greed. I took the stand, voice steady as the gavel. Your Honor, this isn't about money. It's about betrayal. My aunt stole my grandmother's legacy, desecrated her memory, and now threatens to bury me too. Evelyn's eyes locked on mine, cold, calculating. Recess called. She cornered me in the hall. Drop it, Layla. Or Mom's suicide note goes public. You know the one I wrote. My blood iced. She'd forged that too? You killed her. Whisper. Mercy. She begged. Join me. Or join her. The offer hung, split the spoils. Rule the ruins. Tempting. In that dark American way. Family above law. Survival over sanctity.
But no.
See you in hell first.
Court resumed.
My lawyer dropped the bomb. Mom's talks report. Discrepancies Ruiz unearthed. Coroner bribed. $20K wire transfer from Evelyn's account. Homicide whispers rippled. Judge adjourned. Bailiffs escorting her out in cuffs for questioning. Victory? Tasted like ash. Voss kept the house, good faith buyer clause, but I got $2.10 mill wired by week's end. Enough to buy peace. Or wage war. Evelyn out on bond. Of course, connections. She vanished. Holed up in a safe house per Ruiz. I used the payout smart. Lawyered up for the murder probe. Hired security. But the twist gnawed. Why me? Why groom the betrayal so deep? Ruiz called November 1st. Voice gravel. Found her. Meeting Marco tonight. Desperate play. Poker game. Big stakes. Opportunity. I geared up, black hoodie. Burner phone. Drove to the warehouse in Wilmington. Fog rolling off the harbor like ghosts. Parked in shadows. Slipped inside through a loading dock. Smoke thick. Laughter guttural. There, Evelyn at the green felt. Chips dwindling. Marco looming. I watched. Heart pounding sink to the flop. She bluffed hard, queen high, but outdrawn. Marco's goons dragged her to a back room. I followed. Pulse thunder. Door ajar. Evelyn on knees. Pleading. The house money's coming, give me time. Marco's laugh. Time's up.
Evie.
Knees or payment. She glanced up, saw me in the crack. Eyes widened, then narrowed. A nod. Almost imperceptible. Help. Or finish it. My hand on the door. Push in. Save her. Family? Or let it play. Justice raw? I hesitated. Controversial calculus. She'd murdered. Stolen.
Leet.
But blood. The American dream twisted. Rags to revenge. But at what cost?
Pushed in.
Marco? We need to talk. Marco's pistol whipped out faster than a bad check. Barrel kissing my forehead. Who the fuck are you? Evelyn scrambled up. Robe askew. She's nobody, wait. Marco. She's got the money. The settlement. Warehouse reeked of stale beer and desperation. Crates stacked like tombstones. Fluorescent buzz overhead. 5 goons circled. Tats gleaming under ink. I kept my voice Yarcom. Layla Harper. The niece. I wired $500,000 to your Cayman account this morning. For her marker. Marco's eyes narrowed. Finger easing off the trigger. Prove it. I held up my phone. Transfer confirmation. Timestamped. Ruiz's hack. But who'd snitch? Marco checked his burner. Grunted approval. Smart girl. Family discount. Call it insurance. I glanced at Evelyn, pale. Calculating. Gratitude? Or plotting my grave? He holstered. Waved off the muscle. You're square.
Evie.
But next time? No more Hollywood bullshit. They filed out, leaving us in the dim. She lunged, hugging fierce. You saved me. God. Layla. I shoved her back. Hard. Don't. This buys silence on Mom. Full confession to the cops. Or the wire reverses. And the house deed? You contest nothing. Her face twisted, relief to rage in a blink. Blackmail? After I made you? You made nothing. You broke everything. But doubt crept. Was I her now? Flipping morals for the win? She agreed. Voice honey over venom.
Fine.
Truce. For real. We drove back in silence. My Civic cutting through the fog to her condo. Dropped her off with a warning. DA circling. Make it clean. November blurred into Thanksgiving, irony's feast. I spent it alone on the bluffs. scattering purchased sea glass where Grandma should be. The house loomed, half-gutted, Voss's crew installing solar panels, turning sanctuary to showpiece. $2 mill in the bank felt like blood money bought a condo in Venice. Anonymous, but sleep-evaded. Dreams, Mom's ghost. Evelyn's laugh. Evelyn played compliant. Turned state's evidence December 1st.
Plea deal for fraud and the POA.
Mom's case? Accidental overdose, she spun. But the tox gap stuck. DA pushed manslaughter. She lawyered up. Flipped informants on Marco's ring. Fed swooped, RICO charges. Her testimony gold. Media shifted. And turns tables, from villain to whistleblower. Talk shows booked her. She sobbed on CNN about redemption, name-dropping me as the daughter I never had. Trolls flipped. Now I was the enabler, propping her empire. I ignored it. Dove into therapy group for betrayal survivors. Ironic circle of nods and tears. Forgive to heal, the shrink droned. Bullshit. Healing was exposure. Christmas Eve. Ruiz called. She's bolting. Private jet to Cabo.
Dawn.
Taking the last mill. Panic surged. I raced to LAX. Badge from a nurse buddy getting me airside. Spotted her at the private hangar, Louis Vuitton rolling. Boarding Gulfstream with a stranger, Trent Voss. The buyer? Her lover? Twist gutted me. She'd flipped him, seduced the spoils. I confronted at tarmac security. Evelyn, stop. She turned, wind turbine whipping her hair. Voss beside. Arm possessive. Layla, Merry Christmas. You sold to him your mark, and now. She smiled. Cold as December surf. Business. Darling. He needed a partner. I needed an out. Voss smirked. Good faith. Remember? But your aunt. Persuasive. Rage boiled. I lunged, not violent, but snatched her carry-on, rifling for proof. Passport. Tickets. And a flash drive. Labeled Layla files. Give that back. She clawed. Security swarmed, but I held firm.
Cops. Now.
Detained in a holding room. Mirrors. Bad coffee. Drive plugged into a terminal. Videos. Me at 16. Drunk driving that night, Evelyn's car. Her idea. Loosen up. Kid, your mom's ghost needs company. She'd filmed it. Insurance. And more. My ER aggressions. Deepfakes? Doctored to tank my career. But the gem, her confession audio.
To Voss.
Mom? Yeah. I slipped the extras. Inheritance fight. Layla took the hit and run cause she soft.
House.
Mine by right. Grandma owed me for raising the brat. Leverage. I played it for the feds. Waiting in cuffs. Evelyn grilled separate. Perjury on the plea. Conspiracy. Voss. Accessory. New Year's dawned in chaos. Headlines. Malibu heiress double-crossed. Aunt's empire crumbles. Bail denied. She rotted in Sybil Brand. Plotting.
Me.
Cleared. But scarred. Voss forfeited the house. Court ordered repurchase at cost. Plus damages. Seaglass Haven mine again. Roses replanted over ghosts. But victory hollow. Therapy unpacked it. I'd borne her sins, hit and run. Lies to protect a monster. Was revenge justice? Or cycle? February. Grandma's birthday. I hosted a small wake, Ruiz. Shrink. A few nurses. Toasted to ashes at sea. Properly this time. Evelyn wrote from jail. You win. But we're the same. Blood betrays. Maybe. But I burned the letter. Watched flames dance. American grit. Rebuild or burn it down. Spring brought trials. Evelyn's flipped again. Testified against Voss for leniency. Painted me the puppet master. Jury split. Hung on manslaughter. But fraud stuck. 10 years. Minimum. Climax hit May.
Sentencing.
Court packed. Reporters. Family stragglers, distant cousins. Vultures. She took the stand. Voice breaking. Layla. Forgive. I did it for love. Twisted. But love.
Gasps.
Love. The room cleaved. Some nodded. Redemption arc. Others hissed. Manipulator to the end. I stood. Voice echo. Love doesn't forge deeds or dose pills. It doesn't bury kin for profit. You made me your scapegoat. Now face the mirror. Judge dropped the gavel. 15. No parole. As marshals cuffed her, she mouthed, "This isn't over."
Outside.
Rain lashed, dramatic as a Scorsese close-up. Reporters shoved mics. Regrets? Hero or villain? I paused. Camera flashes blinding. Neither. Just surviving. But the split lingered. Online forums debated. Did Layla go too far? Baiting the rescue. Evelyn deserved worse. Vigilante justice. Twist whispered, in her cell. She'd birthed a secret DNA test. Buried. Mom wasn't Evelyn's sister. Adopted. I was the outsider. Blood lie from birth. Summer scorched LA. Heat waves miraging the 405 like bad acid. Seaglass Haven rehabbed, new roof. But soul intact. I quit the ER. Opened a halfway house for betrayal survivors. Anchor Point. Therapy by the sea. Funded by the settlement. Ironic therapy for my scars. Evelyn's appeal dragged endless motions. Her shark spinning coerced testimony. Voss plea bargained. Community service. Slap on wrist. He kept his millions. Vanished to Tahoe. Ruiz retired. Gifted me his .38 for the ghosts. I didn't touch it, but kept it loaded under the porch boards. August. A letter slipped under my door. No stamp. Handwritten. Layla, meet me. Neutral ground. The diner on PCH. Midnight.
Come alone. 8.
Jailbreak? No. Parole hearing fast-tracked. Technicality on the POA chain. Out on GPS anklet. Supervised release.
Ballsy.
I went. Bourbon buzz for courage. Diner neon flickered. Booths empty, save a trucker nursing pie. Evelyn slid in opposite. Thinner. Eyes hollowed. Thanks for coming. Curiosity. Or stupidity. She slid a folder across. DNA results. Yellowed. Read. Pages trembled in my hands. Mom's adoption papers, 1950s. Orphanage in Tulsa. Evelyn's folks? Not hers. Grandma lied. Said it was a family secret, shame of infertility. Impact, seismic. The Harpers? Facade. Evelyn. The golden child, just as stolen. Why hide?
Control.
Grandma played us both, pitted sisters against each other for the house. Mom cracked first. I finished it. Confession raw. No tears. You. I laughed.
Bitter.
I fixed your messes to fix hers. Thought blood bound us. It does. She leaned in. Voice conspirator. Voss, he's not done. Suing for fraud. claims I entrapped him. But together, we bury him. Take back the rest. The flip, inevitable. Alliance offered, venom-laced. Controversial crux. Join the spider. Weave whiter, or snip the thread.
Outside.
Waves roared judgment. I stood. Folder clutched.
No.
You're poison, Evelyn. But, her eyes lit hope, you're free. GPS off?
Run.
But leave the DNA. Proof grandma's will stands. Adoption nulls your claim. Betrayal's echo. I freed her, but severed. She nodded, almost proud. Twist ending.
Kid.
Who's the villain now? She vanished into night, Mexico. Whispers said. Voss's suit? I countersued. Drained him dry. House secure. Anchor point thrived. Women like me. Rebuilding from ruins. Fall leaves turned. Ironic in coastal drought. One night. Storm lashed. A knock. Not Evelyn, a girl. 18. Wide-eyed. Aunt Layla? Mom said. Evelyn sent me. Daughter? Hidden spawn from some flip-flop affair. She said you're the only real family. Teach me not to be her. I let her in. Rain pooling. Twists debate. Nurture the seed. Risk the vine? Or turn her away? Perpetuate the break? We talked till dawn. Stories of betrayal. Not blame. American saga. Fractured. Fierce. Forever arguing right from wrong. Months later. News pinged. Evelyn caught in Ensenada. Extradited. No fight left, pleaded out. Life in Chino. Her last words. Per the AP. Tell Layla. Blood's a lie. But revenge? That's the truth. I visited once. Plexiglass cold. Why the girl? Redemption. Or revenge on you, your choice. I chose Grace. Neither. She's mine now. Family redefined. She smiled. Faded. Good. We both win. Or lose. Readers, judges in armchairs would argue. Heroic mercy. Or enabling escape. Happy close. By tragic fork. As I drove home, Pacific silver under moon. Sea glass haven glowed. Ghosts quiet. For once. Revenge's arc. Not end. But evolution. In America, we burn bridges, build boats, and sail into the gray.